All right, Scott Knight here, Ango Sports, Frank Vertullo, Queens College. Meet the coach, meet the school. Another day in paradise. Frank, thanks for taking the time.
Anytime.
Let's get into right away. Let's get at it, get after it. Let's get into it right away. Tell us about who you are, where you're from, a little bit of your youth experience, the positions that you played, your career as a youth player, and maybe some guys that maybe you played with that have gone on to continue in the sport, and a little bit about, again, background of you as a player.
Sure. I grew up in Suffolk County in Deer Park. I played for Deer Park High School, and growing up club, I played for North Babylon. At the end of my high school career, I went to play for Massapequa TNT. That was an amazing team with some amazing players. After that, I went to Dowling College. I played there for 4 years. I was fortunate enough to play there for 4 years because it was an amazing program, amazing athletic department and soccer team. And then I played a couple of years professionally for the New York Freedoms. And I got into coaching basically when I first got into college. I started coaching some club teams. And then once I finished playing, I was the assistant coach at Dowling College for 6 years. We went to 4 Final Fours, Division II, and won the 2006 national championship. And then I was lucky enough to get the head coaching job at Suffolk Community College. So kind of just rolled from there. I was there for 10 years at Suffolk, and we won 2 national championships, made 3 finals and 5 Final Fours, and then moved on to Queens College, where I'm at now.
Yeah, some big career, right? As a player, won some really big trophies, some big influences.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about club ball and those influences, those coaches you had, and then you made that decision to go to Dowling. Tell us a little bit about what influenced that decision and why you chose Dowling.
Yeah, club was definitely, the landscape of club soccer was definitely different back then. But it was a great experience. I grew up playing for Mr. Gary Galetta. He was an amazing man, an amazing coach, and he really had an impact on my life. He really taught us a lot, and he really cared about us. I mean, he was just so knowledgeable of the game, and he was president of the North Babylon Soccer Club. I mean, he did it all. And at that time, I mean, you don't really get this a lot. You know, he was like, Frank, you know, I really want you to push yourself, and I want to push you. And he's like, move on to Massapequa. You know, they're the best team on Long Island. Leave here. Like, you're so much better off there. So I wound up going there. And then that really started to pave the way for me to go to Dowling. You know, I chose Dowling because it was close. You know, I'm a very family-oriented man, and I love to be close to home. And Dowling was just turning the corner, and it was just a great experience. You know, I was going to be a teacher, so it worked out perfect. And I wound up going to Dowling, and between the coaches, Coach Dorico, and the coaching staff and the players, it was a different level. I mean, there was a quality side every year.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that, right? High level teams you guys had, some big accomplishments. Why don't you share with us a little bit about those experiences on and off the field, and then that level of play, right? A lot of times we speak about it's a fine line between the different divisions, right? Division I, Division II, Division III, and even junior college.
Yep.
Share a little bit with us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we were Division II, but we were a quality side. I mean,
yes, you were.
There were so many guys on that team that played for the national teams. It was a very international-based team. A lot of African and Caribbean and Scandinavian, and like half the team played for their national teams, had caps with their national teams. I mean, we had the captain of the Senegalese national team playing for us. I mean, he showed us pictures. He showed us pictures of him playing in the African Cup of Nations with like 80,000 people in the stands. And he's playing for us. It lifted the level for everybody, which was an amazing experience because you have no choice but to get better playing with those, that level of play. And I know, it wasn't Division I, but, a lot of the guys are 23, 24, 25-year-old men with international experience. It's a high standard. It's quality side.
Yeah. Different pathway than maybe a lot of the kids, probably understand, right? They understand it a little bit more when they arrive. And
Yeah.
yeah, I remember seeing you guys play, man. It's fantastic squads, really, really high level stuff. And it was great for the area, right? You guys winning trophies, bringing a lot of attention. And
Yeah.
I know you shared a story with me one time. I think it was maybe when we were speaking over at New York Presbyterian about how you were on the younger side, an American kid, and was almost the odd situation out over there. Speak a
Sure.
little bit about that.
Yeah, I went into college at 17. I didn't turn 18 until after my freshman season in December. So I was really young. And I walk in, and there's some guys that were 26 and 27 on the team. They were men, and I was still built like a little boy. And it was wow. But it was either you sit the bench or you're going to work your butt off and do something. And I did, and I was fortunate enough, again, like I said, to play for such a quality program with quality guys. And it really was amazing for Long Island, because we had Southampton, which was a huge rivalry. Malloy was always quality. At the time, CW Post, New York Tech. I mean, you had so many quality sides here on Long Island that the level was just exceptional. Really.
Now, I know you took a lot of those experience, right? Club wise, you took a lot of those experiences from Dowling, and then you got into coaching.
Yep.
So why don't you share a little bit about why you made the decision to go into coaching, how that resonated with you? I know your profession is a teacher, right?
Yep.
So share a little bit about how you made that transition from Dowling, why those influences, and how you got into coaching right away.
Yep. So when I got to college, I started going into my sophomore year. I started to train a team from Smithtown. It was the first team I ever did. And then I met up with Court Weinstein, who actually is one of my assistant coaches now at Queens College. And his son is going to be coming in the fall as a freshman from Deer Park High School. And he hired me full time to take over like 4 or 5 teams, and it just took off from there. You know, I was going to be a teacher, and so coaching was the path that I was looking to take. And once I graduated from Dowling, I stayed on staff and became the assistant coach. The main reason was because I told Coach DeRico that I wasn't leaving this place without a national championship. And whether it be 1 more year or 10 more years, we were going to win one. And coach's determination and the staff and the players. So, I mean, we finally got it in 2006. And it took a couple of trips to the Final Four to get it, but we got it. So
yeah, huge accomplishment, right?
Yeah, very
and
difficult.
Then from Dowling, you moved on, right?
Yep.
From there.
Yep.
Talk to us a little bit about that, because another big accomplishments as well. A lot of attention to this area, some trophies as well for you.
Yeah, Suffolk treated me great. It was a great experience. My first head coaching gig. We accomplished a lot there. It was excellent. You know, we had a chance to compete for a national championship a couple of times, and we were fortunate enough to beat Herkimer and Richland, the powerhouses of junior college. We happened to beat them in 2010 and 2014. It was just a great experience. You know, you get to mentor kids that are coming straight from high school that, maybe weren't eligible D1 or D2, looking, just to get their feet wet in the college game or college classes. And so you get to help them move on to another college. That's a very rewarding experience. Plus we got to win a lot. So that was fantastic, very rewarding. And it really sculpted, Dowling really sculpted my coaching career. And then once I got my head coaching job at Suffolk, it really, kind of came together.
I enjoyed those derby matches with Nassau,
Ooh,
right?
Ooh.
Nassau
has always, Fish does a great job. Nassau and Suffolk, you don't get better than that. In the 10 years I was there, we played each other like 7 times in the finals to go to nationals. I mean, we was just, always, you have so much talent on Long Island that, Nassau and Suffolk gets stacked with some quality players.
Yeah, I would say just as entertaining on the field was maybe the stuff happening on the sidelines and off the field and in the stands. Anything you can share with us? Experience, moment, something?
Say that again?
A moment, an experience in one of those derby matches. I know that there was plenty going on the outside of the field.
There was so much going on. I mean, there was such a rivalry on and off the field. I mean, I think one of the best ones was 2014. Just an amazing game, and it was just a torrential downpour. I mean, it was biblical rain for the finals, playing out over at Mitchell Field, and we won 1-0. We scored late in the game. Joseph Lopez, who was, All-American in high school, All-American at Suffolk, National Player of the Year. He scored 32 goals, had 28 assists that year. Scored just an absolute amazing goal in the final, and it just, with the crowd in it, even in that rain, it was memorable. Something you'll never forget.
I was under the bleachers. I wouldn't come out, so I wasn't feeling that. Okay, then big move to Queens College, which is where you're at now. Let's talk about making that move and where the program's at.
Yep.
The things that you're doing to recruit and build upon. Carl Christian was there before you, good friend.
Yep.
Know Carl really well. Let's talk about making that change and how it came about, and the things you guys are working on and what you're doing now.
Yeah, it came about as my assistant coach at Suffolk, Keith Ginsberg, who's now the head coach at Suffolk, who's doing a great job there as well. He told me about the job. He saw it, and a couple of people reached out to me and said, you should look at this. And I did, and I said, wow, I mean, this is something that I should definitely consider, because it's a great academic school. The location is unbeatable. Right in Queens, right on the LIE. You could pull from Suffolk, you could pull from Nassau, Queens, all the boroughs. And financially, especially in these times where things are so up in the air, especially right now with everything going on with the virus, you can't get a better value for the education that you're going to get, which is top notch. There's not many schools better. $6,800 for the year. You really can't beat that. So I looked at it and I said, wow, I mean, the location's amazing. The school academically, you can't beat it. And price-wise, it's I would always find it difficult to bring a kid into a program and say, you're going to go in debt $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. Meanwhile, you could get an education at Queens, a top-notch education at Queens for, $25,000 for your 4 years. I mean, it's unbeatable. So I looked at it, and I was fortunate enough to get it, and we're doing a great job.
No, I know there's big things happening over there too, right? Facility wise and in the area. Talk a little bit about that, the changes that are happening. I know it's a big project. I'm certainly excited about it. Should really bring a lot, and from a soccer perspective over there. Yeah,
once we get we're getting turf with lights, which is going to be amazing. Our practice field is going to be turfed, no lights, but it'll be turfed. And it's going to really help us out a lot, because the field obviously is used a lot, and it's not the best, but we make the most of it as always, as best as you can. And we were supposed to have it built maybe by the end of this season, but with everything going on, everything's getting delayed. So everything's kind of in limbo. But once we get that turf in that location, it'll be top notch.
No, it's great. It's great for the area. Share with us a little bit about your recruiting, right? The players that you're looking for, the type of player that fits, what you're looking for. I know you use a lot when we're talking about character with guys and drive. Those kind of intangible aspects are important. So why don't you share us a little bit about how you want to build the program, the type of player you want to be around, and I know you've also shared with me before that those are things that were instilled with you, right? Those are things that got you about the person you are, the coach you are, the player that you are, right? And tell us a little bit about that, if you could.
Well, you and Marco have always been great to me throughout the years, and you guys do an amazing job. I can't thank you guys enough. Everyone that you recommend has always worked out and been what I've been looking for. So I appreciate that, honestly. Thank you guys. You guys do an amazing job. You work hard. And that's what I look for, guys that work hard. I want guys that come in and, high character guys that I'm not going to have to worry about off the field. Come in, they're going to work hard. They're going to put their boots on every practice, every game. And I tell them, I want you to practice every day like it's your last. I want you to be coachable and work hard. And if you could do that, we all have a common interest. We all want to win here, but I can't do it without you, and you can't do it without me. So if we work together, everybody, plays their role, do it to the best of your ability, everything will work out. So I just look for guys that are going to, obviously technically sound, high IQ, soccer IQs. You really need that, especially as you get, the higher levels. You need guys with soccer IQs that are going to work hard and really, really bring it for you every game.
So
heart, desire, bringing their heart, bringing their desire, bringing their work ethic. You have a bunch of guys like that, you're going to be successful.
So Division II, the conference?
Yep.
Right. What conference are you guys in?
In the ECC.
East Coast Conference. Right. Located in Queens. I know you're always pushing CUNY, the price. Talk a little bit now about the academics, right? And how a player can fit in with their academic wise, and how the school works in that category. Obviously, like you have said, and I believe it as well, it's a huge kind of hidden gem from a level of academics as well.
Yep. I mean, the academics are high at Queens, so when I'm recruiting, I'm looking for, local guys that are academically going to be sound. They know what they want, and they're going to work for it. We put a big emphasis on academics at Queens. The athletic department, the school, there's a high standard. You're a student athlete, and there's a reason why they call it student athlete. You're a student first, and they put a huge emphasis on it. And our athletic department does a great job of helping us staying on top of the student athletes, making sure that everything gets done in order for them to be in the best possible position to be successful. So, to be honest with you, at Queens, I'm looking for a lot of local guys because obviously in-state tuition is, like I said, $6,800. When you start to go out of state and international, tuition like triples. So in order for us to make it work, we need high IQ, high quality, local kids with a couple of guys from out of state or international sprinkled in.
Perfect. Let's wrap it up here. If you had to give some advice or one last aspect in terms of players overall recruiting throughout the year, specifically for Queens, if you had to give one thing or a mentality to a player, to a young man, what would you'd want to get across?
I would say, be organized, know what you want, and go after it. For every quality player out there, there's 100, there's 1,000, and especially in Division II, you look at the top teams that, a lot of them are international. So you're not competing just only guys here locally. You're competing internationally for that spot. And if you want to go to that particular school, stay on top of the coach, make sure that you work hard. And I always ask my players, what are you doing every day to differentiate yourself from the next person? To distance that gap. Are you going to the track to get your running in? Are you working on your touch? Are you working on your deficiencies? If you do that every day, if you know what you need to improve on and you work at it every day, then you're going to get better. Then you're going to open up that door. And academically, you might want to go to Queens College, but if you don't have the grades, you're not getting in. And it's black and white. Either you have the grades or you don't. There's no way you can't help get guys in. It doesn't work like that anymore. Academically, this is the standard, and that's why they don't deviate from that. So, you can have the best touch. You can score goals. You can be great in the air. You can have all those attributes that a coach is looking for. But academically, if I'm recruiting two kids and one has a 82, 83 average and one has a 91 average, and they're basically the same, playing wise, I'm going for the one with the higher average because I know academically he's going to be a better fit for us at Queens.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Frank Vertullo, Queens College. Thanks for taking the time. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it as always. Again, thank you guys for the players that you recommend. You guys been fantastic. Keep sending them our way. I know there's a lot of local guys, but we'll take care of it.
Yeah, big fan of the school, right place, right price, good coaching staff. So we're huge fans. We appreciate everything you're doing.
Thanks, bud.
We'll talk
soon.
Be well
and be safe.
Likewise, brother.
Take care, bud.
Ciao.
Bye.